Hey y'all, hey, how are you today? Got a little frog in my throat. I've been doing this for a couple of days, and I guess I'm off my live stream game. Hey y'all, hey, it's Lashonda Henry here, aka Sister Sense, once again inside the Get Back on Track Challenge. Welcome, welcome. So we are on day 6. This is day number 6 of the Get Back on Track experience. Every day I've been coming on here so we can talk about different ways to reconnect and put yourself in alignment as far as your business vision. Getting Black Friday ready, getting signups and sales, getting paid, getting views, all the things. So today on day number 6, what I want to do is talk to you about how you can work on getting organized, okay? Organization is the word for today. So hopefully you guys are excited to check in with me, whether you are checking in live or catching me on the replay side. Hopefully you are officially inside the challenge. Number 1, drop GBOT into the comment box that I can see. You are ready to get back on track. And number 2, if you haven't already done so, make sure that you go to sistersense.com/GBOT to officially join the challenge and get all the goodies that I every day have been dropping on there to share with you. Today actually was day 1 of the Print Your Profits weekend workshop. We are working on putting together course books and training. So it's been pretty fun for day number 1, wrapping up and going into day number 2. But of course, my focus today is to talk to you about how you can get organized. Okay, so I'm going to be digging into a few recommendations, pulling them out of my time savers toolkit, right? Productivity, getting more done, all the things. Hey, Dryer Buzz, welcome, welcome. Let me put my eyes on real quick just to see who is in the virtual building hanging out with me. Welcome, y'all. Awesome to see y'all here today. Okay, so a couple of things. The first thing that I want to do is to drop a few recommendations on you as far as how can you get back on track and get organized when you're just trying to get into the swing of things. For me, the first thing that I want you to do is to identify your top 3, right? What are your top 3? I really want to be ... right now things, right? What are those things that you are saying, I really want to be doing these things. I really want these things to be set up. Make that at, your focus and your priority, okay? Not everything, not all the things, but 3 things that you can say, let me focus on this. Number 1. Number 2, when you think about those 3 things, have you been dragging your feet? Right? You're trying to get back on track because it's been a while, or you've been meaning to get started, but you haven't to. So where are you dragging your feet with this? Where do you feel overwhelmed or disorganized, right? Identifying these things are going to help you, because what you got to do is a couple of things. Number 1, you have to tackle your resistance. And number 2, you have to work on your routines. Okay. So, for example, I remember when I decided, you know what, I'm going to jump in and do like a bunch of videos on TikTok. There were certain things about the platform that were like, oh, I don't want to do this. How do they do this? What are the kids doing here? How does this work? And when you find that you are resistant to doing certain things because maybe it feels a little bit uncomfortable or it's unfamiliar, you really got to identify what those things are for yourself. So again, you can tackle the resistance, get organized, and move forward, right? Case in point, when I decided that I wanted to do more live streams, I was like, oh my God, it just takes so much time to get together, to get the room situated. Where am I going to do my recordings? Da 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 da. And then I came up with solutions, right? I always say to you guys, StreamYard is my favorite platform so that I can simultaneously broadcast across multiple platforms at once. I am currently on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter on StreamYard. And then on one of my phones, I am on Instagram on the other side. So I've got something that works for me, right? Makes the process easier, right? The first thing that I said is when it comes to organization and getting back on track, I really want you to identify some of the things that you say. I really want to complete, I want to get started, get back into dot, dot, dot. And then think about in those areas, where are you dragging your feet? Where are you feeling resistant? Where are you feeling disorganized? Because in order to move forward, it can't just be that every day you feel a certain way about those things. You feel heavy, you feel regret, you feel, oh God, I still haven't gotten started with that. But why? Why haven't you gotten started? Right? Now, when I say this to you, it gives me an opportunity to actually think about a few clarity calls that I've had with clients and some of the recommendations I've shared based on areas where people felt they were disorganized and they needed support. Okay. So it's possible that maybe one or two of these applies to you. So I'm going to drop a few specific organization recommendations that were unique to these client conversations. And outside of what I'm sharing, you can always email me, sistersense@gmail.com, or go to sistersense.com/call me to schedule a call so we can talk about those areas that you want to prioritize so you can get better at getting organized. Okay. Thanks for the heart and the love. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. Feel free to share this out or tag a business bestie who wants to work on getting back on track. Sister Sense style. So one of my clients said, you know what, LaShonda? And you guys, let me know if this is something you can relate to. She said, listen, I have like different platforms that I'm using for my email opt-in, right? So I've got a pop-up and a sign-up form here. I've got one here, different websites. They're going to different places. I got one here. I don't even know if I'm even using it or what it's connected to, right? And so what we did was we sat down and talked about what list, what lead magnet, what landing pages she wants to focus on, and then looking at the different pages that are currently with that have pop-ups and have subscriber forms and things of that nature. So where does the disconnect lie, basically, right? So she's like, okay, well, this page and this page don't have the same thing, and I actually want the same thing here and here. So we're figuring out what's not working, what's missing, what's duplicated, so you can fix it, right? So identify where you're feeling either there's overlap or confusion or you're all over the place so you can move forward with that project, right? One of my clients said to me, I want to know how to blog. Like we recently completed some of the things that she is doing. And so number one, she sat down and realized, well, here are the different core areas that I want to have people see when they come to certain pages on my website, right? So that number one, we organized the content on a page that made sense. After we had a conversation about those categories and those sections that she wanted. And then number two, she said, okay, now that I've got that done, I do want to start to get into the swing of putting more articles on the website. I just don't know how to do that. So we did a one-on-one training so I could take her inside her WordPress blog so she can move forward, right? And then she checked in with me and said, okay, well, now that that's done, I want to be able to log in on a regular basis, my password, all the things, right? So identifying where you feel like you have issues, maybe things are overlap, you need logins, you need organization. Where do you need help? A total other client, she was in a space where essentially she said, you know what, I need to get more traffic to my site. And we looked at her audio content, we looked at her articles, and I gave her an opportunity to work with me on putting together categories and talking about how she could work on her search engine optimization and created a short list. And so the next time we spoke, she said, you know what, LaShonda, I really appreciated that because in the last 2 weeks, I felt like I had a plan. Like she was like, okay, I did that, check it off the list. I did that, check it off the list, right? So number one, being in a place where you can identify where you're feeling delayed or disorganized, right? And then from there, thinking about either where you're resistant or where you need help. where you need help. Sometimes there are certain things that you just cannot do on your own, and maybe you need to Google it or you need to outsource it. One of my favorite statements, and there's actually a book called How versus Who, right? Sometimes you can figure out how to do it for yourself, and other times, to be honest with you, you got to find somebody who could do it better or faster for you, right? So, organization, where do you need help? Where do you need support? Where are you dragging your feet? What are some things you want to accomplish? I've done a lot on productivity and organization over the years. And one of the things that I love to teach is something called crazy good calendars. When you are your boss, when you are the business owner, you're in control of the schedule. So if you don't do nothing, nothing gets done, right? And if you do random things get done, right? So you have to become strategic and intentional when it comes to your schedule, right? So I'm going to drop a few calendar recommendations on you that help me when it comes to organization. Okay. Number one is to create these little micro activities that I can tether myself to. So, for example, 7 days, day 6, I am doing this Get Back on Track challenge with you. And I said, remember, you can always go over to susansense.com/GBOT to officially join the free Get Back on Track challenge experience. Plus, learn more about the Get Back on Track bundle, which has 7 amazing resources in there for you. The Time Savers Toolkit being one of them. And I'm actually, if I don't forget, going to go into this right here, the Time Savers Toolkit, so I can share some of the things that are in there with you. Now, when it comes to organizations, I like to have these little micro projects because then I know this is what I'm doing. You're like, you go, what am I supposed to be doing today? What am I supposed to be working on today? There are different things that help me organize my schedule. One of them is micro projects. So I know I've been doing this for 6 of 7 days. I got tomorrow, that's the last day. And then I may continue to do lives or come back at a different time when I have another theme or topic that I want to dig into for an extended period of time. Okay. That's number one. Number two, for me, when it comes to calendars, is having a schedule that I can tether myself to when it comes to clients. So I do not normally have random calls. People can't just pop up and have access to me. Funny enough, I had a random call yesterday, as I say that. And it was with a client who we've worked with for a while, and it's been a while, and she reconnected. So we had a good call. It was a good call, but it was 2 hours. Did I plan on doing that 2 hour call with her? I did not. I did not. So there are very few people that get access to LaShonda's cell phone number, and I do not normally do random calls. 95.5% of the time, it's got to be on my calendar. If it's not on the schedule, it's not happening. It is just not happening. So normally what I like to do is to make sure that I have a space for people to go to if they want to check in with me, right? When it comes to organization, when it comes to structure, they always say, if you fail to plan, that means you plan to fail. So that when people come to me, I'm already ready. So I'm able to say, okay, go here, go to success.com/call me, get on the calendar, and we'll work it out, right? So again, there's very few times, and like I said, it was a good call, but still it was 2 hours, and it wasn't necessarily that I integrated that time. While we were talking, I was able to, consciously just kind of check a few things, but at the same time, I don't like to do that, right? And I say that because some of you may find that, going to a quote that I love, you can run your day or let your day run you. You feel disorganized because your day runs you too much. People are always calling or emailing. You had the best of intentions to do 1, 2, and 3 things. You find yourself doing 4, 5, and 6 things. And then the top 3 things you never get to because your schedule is all over the place, right? So for me, when it comes to focus, if it ain't on the schedule, it ain't happening. Very rarely do I take sessions like that, but I consciously wanted to communicate with said client. And so I consciously opened up my space for that. Normally, I don't give people my cell phone number. Usually, these are only clients that I've worked with directly. They've come out to see me because obviously, if you're coming out to see me, you need to call me and tell me where you are, and vice versa. But most people do not have personal information for me. We get on the conference line, and that's how we communicate, right? You've got to set clear boundaries for yourself, and you've got to set schedules and calendars for yourself to help you stay organized. Otherwise, you're just going to randomly let random things fall on your plate, and that is just going to consistently keep you off track when you want to stay on track. Speaking of calendars, I always love to share that when it comes to calls, while I do every now and again check in with clients on odd days, my client call day is Wednesday. I call that my office hours. So I have special days to do special things, and that really keeps me focused. That really keeps me on my schedule, right? I put a lot of effort into when I'm listening to clients and I'm helping them and coaching and consulting, really being in that headspace. And that takes a lot of thought, that takes a lot of understanding. It's funny because I love elephants, and an elephant never forgets. And so I'm always like saying, okay, well, remember, what did you say about this? And, that thing you were supposed to work on 2 weeks ago. And they're like, you remember that? Or how did you do it? But I have to consciously be aware, especially clients that I've been working with for a while, what's going on with them and what's in their worlds, which means I need to be in a clear headspace for that. Right. You cannot overextend. And some of you all are overextending yourself to the point where you're doing things when you're trying to just squeeze it in, or you're doing things that are throwing you off schedule because you didn't intend to do those things at the time that you did it, or you're trying to run your business and get back on track when you're depleted. Who's doing that? Who's in spaces where you wait until you've done everything else for everybody else and then you try to work on your business? I'm gonna tell you something right now. I fall asleep all the time with this like this because I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna watch and I'm gonna do some stuff. And I don't even know. When you hit the other side of 40, I don't even know. I just wake up and I'm just like, what was that? What was I doing? You cannot. Now, the good thing is I usually do that if I'm like sitting and, watching Hulu or playing video games. I don't do that working. Okay. I don't have the energy to be in a space where I try to do top priority, high priority work at low energy times. I cannot do that anymore. Maybe in my 20s, right? When you could have that internal Red Bull, but not now. If I am tired, I am going to sleep. Okay. So stop letting the computer or your phone or your iPad watch you. If there are things you intentionally want to do, give yourself and your business the respect that it is due doing those things when you have the energy to. Okay. And I get it. Some of y'all go, listen, LaShonda, but I can only squeeze in the time after ... That's the only time that I have. Then schedule in high energy time. What does that look like? If you're a 9-to-5 entrepreneur, you take off days of work. I had a client who took off sabbatical from work for several weeks so she could just focus on her business. Now, if you're not in a position to do several weeks, maybe you just do a weekend, 2 or 3 days, right? You book a hotel somewhere, but you have to intentionally schedule in time to work on the things that you need to work on, as opposed to trying to squeeze in the time, because those are when you squeeze in the time at low energy times and it's just hard to focus. You're like, why is this so hard? I can't remember, or yeah, I'm frazzled and I'm frustrated because you tired. You tired. It's not gonna work. Trust me, trust and believe. Your energy, your affects your ability to be productive and be organized, right? My calendars, my schedules definitely help. The first thing that I did on day one of our 7 days was talk to you guys about getting Black Friday ready, right? Yesterday, day number 5, when we talked about getting paid, creating products, I talked about seasonal offers as well as signature offers, and how in the beginning of the year I do Fire Start Your Year. This time of year I do Back to Business and Back on Track. That's another high level calendar for me, knowing that at certain times of the year, I do certain seasonal activities, right? So thinking about, do you do that for yourself? Number one, are you creating spaces where you have activities that are a part of your weekly or monthly routines, or your quarterly, annual routines, right? You can run your day or let your day run you, right? So when I have scheduled calls with clients, when I have seasonal dated things on my agenda that I know that I'm supposed to be doing, it keeps me organized. It keeps me on track. I know Wednesdays I'm talking to clients. I know October I'm doing back to business. I know January I'm doing fire start your year. And for some of you, when you come to me and you go, Lashana, oh, I feel like I'm all over the place, I don't know what's going on, it's because you don't have routines, you don't have schedules, you don't have deadlines, you don't have an agenda, right? Interestingly enough, Print Your Profits, the 2-day webinar workshop, is actually happening right now. I did day 1 this morning, and then tomorrow is day 2. Right now, we are working on putting together course books and then adding on course and training content to that to really flesh it out and make it awesome. Course books that can be sold and or printed as physical or digital products, things of that nature. And when I do my webinar workshops, the first thing I talk about is the agenda. This is what we're doing. These are the goals. These are the projects. This is what's happening, right? What is your agenda? What's your agenda for this coming week? Are you clear about that? Let me drop one of my favorite things to do. I've been talking about at certain points of this 7-day challenge with you, my 3 P's, right? I got lots of P's, right? P's, please. 3 of those is thinking about my people, my products, my pages, right? So I'm always in rotation as far as what I'm doing any given week, right? And there can be weeks where I'm really, really focused on, well, what are the products that I'm promoting that week? Because if you want to make a certain amount of profit, right, you do have to have a focus, right? You got to PYP, pick your projects. So there are weeks that I'm either creating or updating a particular product, and then thinking about other things that might be connected to that offer, right? You're in creation mode, right? And then there are other weeks where my products are done and I'm looking at pages, what needs to be updated, obviously, right? Whether it be a freebie page or a sign up offer page, I'm doing that. And then there are other weeks like this week where my focus is my people, right? And being in a space where I'm doing live or I'm doing, videos and creating content, and I'm doing that, being in that space, right? So sometimes I'm just all about, okay, what's going on with the people? What am I doing to interact and engage with people? Now, here's the thing. I'm pretty much doing that every week. I'm doing products, pages, and people to some degree, but there's always something that is at the top of the priority list, right? That's the main thing. And maybe I may dabble a little bit into the other things, but there's always a main thing in the rotation, right? So I'm not creating new products right now because quite a few of the things are done, unless it's a live product. Like, I guess Print Your Profits I am creating because I'm doing the trainings right now, recording the content, so that's happening. But there are weeks when I am organizing content and developing a new digital offer or a service, and that is the focus versus doing something else, right? And that helps being able to just consistently be on that rotation, right? So I don't feel like I have to do everything every week. I can just pick something that I can dig into, which goes back to this concept of micro challenges for myself. I don't have to do everything every week. Find something that I can tether to and work on that, right? In addition to, of course, checking in with clients as far as their projects and things that I can do to support them based on what we're working on during that time period, right? And you have to be honestly unapologetically okay with the fact that you're not going to get everything done in a day. You're just not. If you got a team, great. I mean, but even with the team, still, there's only but so much that can get done. right? So I try to do as much as I can for as many clients as I can, but I'm not 20 anymore. So if I'm still working on something, I will let people know it's in the queue. I haven't forgotten about you. You're the next one up, right? Communication is always important to me, checking in, progress reports, things of that nature. And then also unapologetically pausing, right? Some of you, there are things you want to do, but you never get to because you're like, oh, I have so much stuff to do for these people and these people and these people. You have to unapologetically carve out time for your stuff, or else it's just not going to get done. It's not. You have to be like, listen, I get it. I got stuff to do at work or for these clients or for my family or for my kids or for my parents, my spouse, whatever. But this is what I have to do for myself. If I don't get that done, nothing else is getting done, right? Because guess what? Every day, every week, every month, it just keeps rolling and rolling and rolling. And then you go, oh my God, it's been 6 months and I still haven't dot, 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 right? So the first thing I said to you today is I want you to be able to identify at least 3 things you want to focus on. I'm really, really, really someone who advocates for calendars, schedules, deadlines. Create a clear agenda for yourself. Some things you can figure out how to do for yourself, but when you can't figure out the how, identify a few people who can support you, right? Either HOW how or WHO, switch the letters around and make it work. All right. Who can offer you strategies, recommendations, or just simply do the work for you, right? One of the things that we were doing today was working on course books. We're creating actual print projects as part of Print Your Profits. If you're not in it, you can still join us live or watch the replays. Get the Back on Track bundle over at citizensense.com/GBOT. Number one. Number two, that bundle actually also includes other resources that I have for you, including the Time Savers Toolkit. So I've been sharing some of my personal productivity and organization recommendations based on things that I do and things that I've been sharing with clients in our one-on-one sessions. I do have quite a few resources inside of the Time Savers Toolkit for you if you're looking to learn more about that. And of course, I wouldn't be me if I didn't organize it into sections that I believe can be helpful to you. Now, if you're following me and watching me right now on YouTube or on Facebook and Twitter, you can actually see on the screen the Time Savers Toolkit. You can't see it on Instagram, but of course, I'll just explain to you some of the things that are in that guide. It's in the Get Back on Track bundle. The bundle details are on the Get Back on Track challenge page. Again, at citizensets.com/GBOT. So there are different plans available for you inside the Time Savers Toolkit, and I'm just going to run down a few of them. One is the implementation plan. One question I get a lot from people is, what do I do when I know I need to start, but I don't know where to start? So I created a whole guide to answer that question and help you, even if you don't have me or somebody coaching you and guiding you through where to start. You can go through that particular guide and guide yourself, right? It's like a DIY guide, your personal coach when you're not actually working with me or somebody else coaching you through your productivity and your action steps. So the implementation plan is to work through where do you start when you don't know where to start. Organization, there is the whole crazy good calendars training that's in there as well on organization, systems, productivity. Automation. Automation is something that, Jesus saves me. So lots of things go out to clients whenever I need them to, because I've set up the spaces for that to work for me automatically, right? So when clients sign up to workshops, they automatically get access to the webinars, the conference details, the replays, and everything is set up so I don't need to pay a VA to do it for me, number one. And number two, if somebody checks in with me, I can easily say, oh yeah, go here, check your invoice, it's there. And it cuts down on so much manual time. So identifying things where if you're not doing it or somebody on your team is not doing it, how you can use automation to make your life easier. So there's the automation organization and implementation plan, the productivity plan, of course, me talking about things that you can do as an entrepreneur to work on your productivity, and progress. Progress, I love the progress plan because I'm basically breaking down all the P's and the various steps that I use to step by step make progress in anything that I'm trying to accomplish. So I alluded to the fact that one of the things I intentionally do is create these micro challenges for myself. And over the course of a year, I'm working on different little things. So if I look back on the year so far, one of my micro challenges was 100 articles in 100 days. One was the TikTok and Reels. Another one was this, being able to do this 7-day get back on track experience with you. Another annual challenge is my mastermind, me leading my mastermind 2 sessions a month, every topic, a different topic every month. By the end of that, I have 12 months, 24 new sessions in my digital library, right? One of the things that I've been thinking about for a couple of years is what you call it. I I wanted to create new and updated versions of some of my physical planners because a lot of my stuff is digital, right? And so at the beginning of the year, I finished and finally launched some of my new physical planners, and that was a huge accomplishment for me, right? So I tell you all the time, I don't do it all the time, and you don't have to do it all the time or do it all of it at once. Pick little projects, work on it, knock it out, move to the next thing. And that's what I've been doing every month and every quarter. Outside of doing things for other people, I do that for myself. And there are times when you just have to take a break and do absolutely nothing. And I do that. Sometimes my body is just like, not this week, just not this week. You're going to do the bare minimum and you're going to be happy with that because not this week, right? Especially when you hit a certain age, depending upon how active you are. And I'm not very active, I'm a very sedentary introvert in person. So my body doesn't move as fast as the average Joe, or as it could be, with a little bit of better health and fitness. I know my fitness people are probably like, good Lord, if you were my client, I would mold you into amazing. But anyway, another story for another day. I say that to say we all have our gifts and focuses. Mine is I like to make money. So that's where my energy lies all the time, focusing on all these different things when it comes to my business and content creation and things of that nature. But anyway, I say that to say creating these little micro projects for myself has helped. Now, interestingly enough, as far as my health is concerned, I have given myself micro projects. Last year, when my health was really bad and my sugar was really high, I just baby stepped it. What can you do right now, Lashonda? What can you do as far as integrating more vitamins, getting rid of carbs, getting rid of juice, doing some more activity at home, checking your sugar every day, making sure you're on top of your medicine. Progress where I am now and how I feel now versus last year would not have been possible without those little markers, without those little mini health challenges to help me get back on track and help me get healthier. It works in every aspect of your life, right? Are you creating these little micro challenges for yourself so that you can see progress and you can move forward in your business? What are some small things that you want to accomplish? What are some areas where you're feeling disorganized, so that you can streamline, focus on those things, and move forward? So again, I'm pulling out a few recommendations for you today, just based on things that can help you get back on track, just an high level view, understanding of some of those things you can implement now, based on some of the questions that you guys have sent me that I've worked on with clients in one-on-one sessions. And then also just being able to walk you through some of these sections of the Time Savers Toolkit, the productivity plan, the progress plan. There's a profit plan where I break down different things that you can do to work on your everyday sales goals. There are daily, like for me, it's all about routines, right? You can run your day or you can let your day run you. So giving you my methodology, I should say, different methods that I've integrated Many my own, many I've learned through research and books, etc. Daily plan, weekly plan, monthly plan, right? These are things that you will find inside of the Time Savers Toolkit. So lots of different plans. These are guides that you can download. These are audios or videos that you can listen to, like the Get Unstuck guide, one of my favorites that I've worked on, just to kind of, again, help you with your organization, automation, productivity, all the things. Okay. And of course, the Time Savers Toolkit is one of several things that you can find inside of the Get Back on Track bundle over at scissorsets.com/GBOT. So that's it. I just wanted to pop on here and share again things that you can do to get back on track. We're on day number 6. So far, we've been talking about getting Black Friday ready, getting signups and sales, getting views, getting paid, getting organized. We've got one more day to go. And as you go through this experience, remember there are lots of goodies for you to download on the Get Back on Track page. Just sign in so you can get access to download the things you want to download, and also to see all the goodies inside the Get Back on Track bundle that are sitting there for you. Plus, of course, I would love to have you inside of the Print Your Profits Weekend Webinar Workshop. It's happening this weekend, real time right now. But if you can't catch it live, you can catch the replays. We are working on creating printable products. That's what we do in Print Your Profits. You can create digital products that you can also print as physical products. So we're putting together course books and using my amazing templates to do that this weekend. And we've got session number 2 tomorrow. The replays for session number 1, which happened today, already online. So if you missed it, go watch it. It was good. Outside of that, the Back to Business virtual conference is in 2 weeks. And in between that, of course, I'm always checking on here so I can share some awesome goodies with you. So hopefully today was helpful to you. If anything else, feel free to drop comments. Let me know any questions you have about organization or things that you need to work on, things that maybe are causing you some degree of frustration. You can always email scissorsense@gmail.com, or when you're on the scissorsense.com website, click the gray tab on the right to send me a voice message. So whether it's booking a clarity call over at scissorsense.com/call me, sending me a voice message or an email, I got you. Whatever you need, I ain't going nowhere. Day 1 was amazing. Hey, awesome. I'm so glad that you enjoyed day 1, Danaya. We've got some more to do, some good goods that I'm going to be sharing with y'all tomorrow. And of course, again, if anything's missing, if you all need anything, feel free to check in with me. All right, day number 7, get back on track tomorrow. Take care.